Breaking news from Eric Doherty. Conservatives are calling for this man to be hunted down and imprisoned after he threw a brick at border agents in Minneapolis, causing one to get bloody. This has to stop. That could kill them. Police were nowhere to be seen. Let's take a look at this video and see what happened. There you can see him holding... There it is. There's the brick that came in. And then, of course, he runs away, the person that threw the brick. And I'm pretty sure this smoked this guy's hand, and it was bleeding profusely after this. And I think that there's another video which actually shows a very large pool of blood on the floor or on the ground. Let's watch this one more time here. And I think there was only like 2 or 3 ICE agents up against a mob. So there it is. He throws the brick. You can clearly see that he made good contact with the guy's hand. So anyways, that is what is actually happening. You have a cohort of people in Minneapolis, these violent leftists, and that's what they are. Let's just call a spade a spade. They are violent, and they are throwing things. They are biting them. I mean, there was one guy that had his finger bitten off. But this is the narrative that the media is not going to tell you about, because the narrative that the media wants you to believe in is that the ICE agents are evil, and it's the evil Trump administration that is trampling on people's civil liberties, and they're murdering babies, and they're taking people into the street and putting them in concentration camps. I mean, I saw a CNN segment today where some unhinged leftist was actually making the claim that they are potentially gassing the people that they are rounding up. I mean, it's just total fantasy land. But this is where we're at. This is where we are now. This is the reality that we're facing. We're literally facing a dichotomy between one group of people that is completely and utterly propagandized, and another group of people that at least are able to see the nuance in the situation. Now, you know, there's a few channels I follow. Canadian Prepper is one of them. I think he makes some good points. And one of the points he makes, which I do agree with, it is never a good thing to increase the militarization of police or law enforcement in general. It just isn't. But we are in a unique situation where there are tens of millions of illegal migrants that have entered America illegally, and we need to get them out. We need to remove them, or else the very fabric, the very culture, the social cohesion of America is at risk of being destroyed forever, which I think is part of the Great Replacement theory, which is not just a theory. I think it's undeniable. If you look at what's happening in Europe and you look at what's happening in Canada, it's bad. I mean, here, I live in Canada, and it's so bad that if I go into a public place, I might see 20% of the people that are white, you know, clearly with some sort of European ancestry or heritage, and the other, 70-80% are not. But this is what's happening in America. ICE is finally ramping up the mass deportations, which is what the American public voted for. This is why people voted for Trump. And these protesters are mostly far-left agitators. They're open border activists. They're ethnic grievance groups. They're blocking vans. They're chaining themselves to doors. They're harassing agents. And they're not peaceful. They're not peaceful. Footage literally shows them throwing rocks. They're doxing federal agents. They're going to the hotels where they're staying. And they're creating chaos. They're creating chaos to shield these rapists and gangbangers and welfare invaders that ICE is trying to remove from the country. And mainstream media like CNN and MSNBC are 100% complicit in this situation, framing every incident involving ICE as Nazi tactics or ripping some child from his father. I mean, it's just, they're really playing on people's emotional heartstrings. And for the kids, for example, totally ignoring the fact that the kid was left fatherless by some MS-13 or fentanyl abusing junkie. But anyways, that's the situation in Minneapolis. It's not good, folks. It is not getting better. And I think that at this point, we're right on the cusp of either a direct armed confrontation, like I'm talking shots fired, some leftist protester actually taking shots, or, I mean, who knows? Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video.